You're listening to Civic Media. You can tune into any of our live shows on any radio station across the state with the Civic Media app. Find us in your phone's app store and listen anytime, anywhere. This is your WMDX Daily News Roundup for Mad Radio 92.7 FM and 1580 AM in Madison.
For 92.7 WMDX News, I'm Savannah Tomei-Olson. A nonpartisan group is pushing back against threats to democracy, and they're asking for your help. Lisa Hale has more.
Following the lead of the U.S. League of Women Voters, Northeast Wisconsin chapters of the nonpartisan organization are calling on voters to contact their legislators and demand they protect citizens and the Constitution from what they call a power grab by the executive branch of government. Margie Davey, president of the LWV of Winnebago County.
While Congress, the executive branch, and the courts each have balanced powers within our constitutional system, it is us, the people, who have the ultimate authority to protect our democracy. We must fight for it and demand that our congressional representatives uphold the rule of law and protect our constitutional rights.
The LWV held a press conference to encourage voters to contact their elected leaders and protest actions they view as unconstitutional and a danger to democracy.
And in an update to a story we first brought you a few weeks ago, city officials say the State Street pedestrian mall was a success and they're evaluating how to continue it. Last summer, they made from basically the UW campus up to Gorham Street closed to vehicles at 3 o'clock on weekdays and 10 o'clock on weekends. People could walk in the street. The city added murals, new benches, and planters. Well, now the planning division says cell phone data shows 57% more visitors to the area compared to the same time in 2019. They wanted to use pre-pandemic numbers for comparison. The city did surveys. 84% of people said they liked or loved having the pedestrian mall there, but businesses have more mixed opinions. The planning division may do a, quote, very limited iteration, end quote, of the experiment this summer. The legislature is supposed to be working on the state budget. They may wait it out. The Wisconsin Supreme Court is currently considering a case on the governor's extensive veto powers. And with the balance in the court up in the air in next week's election, Republicans hope it may pay off to wait. Joanne Krulatz has more.
During a press conference at the Capitol last week, Assembly Speaker Robin Vos said Evers wants to be an emperor and act as if the legislature is nothing more than a speed bump. Republicans are working on a tax cut ahead of the budget. Representative Mark Bourne, co-chairs the Joint Finance Committee, said leadership has made it clear that it's going to be a key part of starting the budget process. Bourne said they'll be moving forward on that in the next few weeks and trying to find ways for the governor to work with them. Evers spokeswoman Britt Kutebeck said in a post on X that Republicans want to delay the budget because they're hoping Elon Musk can buy Brad Schimmel a seat on the Wisconsin Supreme Court. Liberal Dane County Judge Susan Crawford faces conservative Waukesha County Judge Schimmel in a race that will decide the court's ideological makeup and the fate of Evers' veto.
And if you have cans of Coke at home, you're going to want to check the UPC code. Coca-Cola is recalling more than 812 packs of original Coke. They could have plastic in them. These cans were manufactured in Milwaukee by Reyes Coca-Cola Bottling, and they were distributed here in Wisconsin and in Illinois. You can check online to see if the cans you have are included in the recall. And somebody in Madison caught a lucky break. According to the Wisconsin Lottery, a winning all-or-nothing ticket was sold at the Dion's BP on the north side. And it was a winner on Tuesday. Whoever bought it is now $100,000 richer. I'm Savannah Tomei-Olson. You're listening to 92.7 WMDX News.
Baseball gets underway. Hi, I'm Mike Clemens with sports. It's the Brewers and the Yankees in the Bronx. Carlos Rodon, who was with the White Sox and then the Giants, on the mound today for the first time as a Yankee against the Brewers' Freddie Peralta. Manager Pat Murphy says it was a rough spring training for the Crew's pitching staff.
We did have a ton of injuries. 7 of our top 13 pitchers will not be going to New York. And then that's disturbing. That's difficult and hard to deal with, but that's what it is right now. We hope to get some of those guys back. There's one that maybe 2, 7, the other 7 will be back at some point, and that's what's crucial for us.
NBA, the Bucks losing by 10 last night in Denver, 127-117 to the Nuggets.
Yeah, I thought when we lost the game, I told our coaches we had to make about 4 to 5 more threes than them tonight. And I thought if we did that, we would win the game. And I think it was a dead heat, right? So that might have been the difference.
That's Bucks head coach Doc Rivers with Sports on Mike Clemens.
On your entertainment beat, I'm Pete Schwaba. Fans of Bruce Springsteen are anxiously awaiting the release of the new biopic about the boss, Deliver Me From Nowhere, which covers the time in the rock icon's life when he took a break from the E Street Band and made his Nebraska album. Sources say filming has wrapped. Jeremy Allen White plays the role of Springsteen, but another actor really hit home with the boss. British actor Stephen Graham plays Springsteen's father, Douglas Dutch Springsteen. Graham appeared on the Soundtracking podcast where he said after visiting the set, Springsteen sent him the most beautiful text he'd ever received. The text from Springsteen thanked the adolescence actor for portraying his father so well and bringing back that memory, adding that it was better than any award he could ever receive. Graham said Springsteen is an icon and that the text from him made him cry. You could try to find a cooler guy than Bruce Springsteen, but you would not be successful. Another record at Netflix falls thanks to a new release. The show Adolescence has already become one of the biggest success stories at the streamer. Crime drama is about a 13-year-old boy accused of killing a girl at his school set in the UK. It's now the most watched series after pulling in 66 million viewers in less than 2 weeks. Tax incentives for filmmakers is an issue here in Wisconsin, and if Rob Lowe were to weigh in, he would probably say do everything you can to pass them. The difference is the Outsiders actor would rather they did the same thing in California where they have no incentives for filmmakers other than proximity to studios, equipment, and talent. On a recent episode of his podcast, Lowe said all the city officials in Los Angeles that allowed production to leave the area should be fired. But if they have to leave, I hope they come to Wisconsin. Tom Hanks and Tim Allen are back as Woody and Buzz in a new Toy Story, but it might not be like the previous films. Pixar Studios says the 5th installment might surprise people and have them asking, is this really a Toy Story film? Not sure what to make of that. Pixar reps have emphasized there have been 4 films and they need to find ways to keep the franchise interesting. Toy Story 5 is expected to hit theaters sometime in 2026. I don't know that cast is all that important to Marvel fans because they'd probably go to the movies anyway. But having said that, the studio has released the names of the cast of the Avengers Doomsday. Chris Hemsworth and Anthony Mackie are back, and joining them in the cast will be Paul Rudd, Tom Hiddleston, and Sebastian Stan. Doomsday is expected to hit theaters May 1st of 2026. For more showbiz fun, tune into Nightlight with me, Pete Schwaba, weeknights from 6 to 8 p.m. on the Civic Media Radio Network.
Mostly cloudy with a few sprinkles here and there this morning, but it will become partly cloudy this afternoon. Our high today, 55. Tonight, an isolated thunderstorm after midnight. Our low down to 43. Tomorrow, partly cloudy and warmer. It'll also be a little breezy with a high of 72. I'm meteorologist Sean Cable. Outside now, it's 43.
That's your WMDX Daily News Roundup from Civic Media. Subscribe to this podcast on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you find your podcasts. Find more news at mad.radio. The national news cycle never stops, but it can be hard to find news about your local community. Civic Media is dedicated to providing quality local and state news coverage across Wisconsin. With the Civic Media app, you can get notifications about local stories that matter to you and your community. Find the free Civic Media app in your phone's app store and choose notifications from the menu to tell us what kind of news you want to hear about.